Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going on to Bitcoin, being a CoinsKid cruise. So late last year in September, I was tracking a cup and handle pattern for BNB. Now, for anyone that's been in the channel for a very long time will know I made a really important post and a video for the CoinsKid crew in late 2023 calling for the bottom on BNB, and I was looking at this move towards the 1K level, which is basically 12.272 fib. And actually level right there, and it's done exactly that. It's been an amazing trade. It's been a beautiful trade, and again, stick into the Discord and stay tuned because I will call these trades again. And what I look for in my big push-up trades, and again, please pay attention, is the 5 waves of death. Okay, and you know, I've gone through this a million times. If you see it on the macro, you've got to buy. Okay, and this is something I relay to you. I remember the sentiment back then as well, and you know, the naysayers and the fearmongers and things like that. But you know, you basically getting bearish at the bottom of a correction. So what we've got is a 1, 2, waterfall 3, always identify the third wave. You come up in a 4 and a final 5th wave down. You've got a bump and run basically, and we broke the neckline, breakout, bad test, see you later. And in the process, we were coming up, we've got this beautiful basin, and then we start to trend back in a correction flag from April, I think it was. We've got this basically your handle, you coming back, and was looking to break this neckline, and then boom, we're up here for BNB. And you can clearly see, you know, if we take a look at this chart right now, it played out. So this is basically where I was making the tweet late last year in September, and pretty much a very similar situation is occurring right now for another chart that we're looking at and tracking is Chainlink. So this may be a little bit confidence to the fact that, okay, we're not necessarily into the bear market here and things like that. And I've been showing this for a couple of weeks. I just think we're going through some kind of correction, some kind of, you know, basically a bear trap before the expansion to the upside. And one of the key charts I'm looking at as confluence of that is the potential cup and handle pattern that we see for Chainlink right now. So if you take a look, we've got this lovely little channel for Chainlink. We're coming up into some resistance, and again, this could be a little bit of confluence. Okay, we might not necessarily see the breakout here, because if you take a look at Chainlink right now, it is struggling at this double top drop, isn't it? You know, so these channels, basically you can create an ABC zigzag, which obviously that could be the bottom, but you can create an ABCD 5-wave correction within them as well. So I'm looking at some kind of A, B, C, potential D into an E for Chainlink. Either way, we break this neckline like we did for BNB way back then. You know, it's all systems go for Chainlink in a potential cup and handle pattern. So this one played out for BNB. It's been beautiful, okay? And this is a trade I've been looking at with yourselves for a very long time, like a relay to late 2023. I did make a really important post on Twitter and obviously in the Discord for the CoinsKid crew as well, you know, outlining my projection for BNB. It was a beautiful buy zone. And this is exactly where you buy, okay? You don't buy here where you've got a little bit of risk of this not playing out, things like that. You always buy 5 waves down. Whenever you see a 5-wave move down like that, look at that. Beautiful. That's where you buy these coins, and this is something I've been relaying for a very long time, and these times will come again, and I'll relay the message to you again, and people will say unsubscribe or is an idiot or whatever, you don't know what I'm talking about, but these times will come again. And right now, you know, if you buy these coins because it's in the sky and big green candles, you're going to get red dildos, you're going to get shafted, because this is how the market works. Stick with the channel, buy the blood fear and depression with all the confluence that I found down there at the time for you. Not just the BNB chart, it was many other charts. It was a tether dominance chart. It was so many things at that time frame. I was showing you, you know, it's confluence, and this is what I do in the channel. So stay with the channel, stick with the channel, because these are where you buy. Not here right now, you know, you're taking off in space. I'm going to buy here because at some point it turns around, and then you know, you bought a coin that's at the top and going to break down. This, you know, this cup and handle pattern that we're spotting on Chainlink right now may not even play out. It may not even play out, but we've got a very similar situation. Made the high, made the lower high, made the high, made the lower high. Then we drop in this space and come up into this high. We drop in this space and coming up into this same high, come sideways in the channel, basically trending back down and overlapping zigzaggy waves. Break the channel, fantastic. You're in an impulsive move to the upside. So we're looking at this. So for the next few weeks, apply a little bit of caution, because if this is a 5-wave channel, which is possible, at some point break the channel, okay, lovely little move, and it could be you know, the case, because this is why XRP, I do apologize, it could be why Chainlink's struggling a little bit, this double top drop. So you've got this double top drop, you're coming back up, you're trending into it, flush back up into this neckline, and then boom, you drop. So we may be in for another little drop in the next couple of weeks of October before the true reversal and the pop. But what I'm looking for in the neckline is a break above this resistance, and you know, it may actually be confluence of the fact that we're not entering a bear market, and what we're looking at is a big push up because of the Chainlink chart. So keep an eye on that, okay? Currently in some kind of channel, trending back in a potential cup and handle pattern that's trending back, break the basin, fantastic, see you later. Off to the races for Chainlink. So it's a little bit of confluence of the fact that, okay, I don't necessarily think we've entered the bear market at this point. So looking at the index quickly, we are seeing a little bit of exhaustion to the upside. We're seeing a little bit of a sell zone warning coming in, because what we're getting, the sell side of the market is outweighing the buy side. So for those people who've been on the channel will know that last week I was calling for longs and this week I'm calling for shorts, because what comes up must come down. Please remember that when you come into resistance, you retrace the support to go again. So, but look at Bitcoin right now, $118,717. Look at that, it's doing incredibly well. But on the micro, you are pushing into these sell warning zones, so be careful. I think we could have a little bit of a pullback just to confirm this breakout support, and then we go again, which would be amazing, okay, because we are seeing a little bit of micro exhaustion. Micro fear and greed is currently at 84. This time last week, I think it was on Friday, it was at 18, and I told you, you know, we've got buying opportunities across the board. So if we take a look, you've still got some opportunities if you are looking for those opportunities, because obviously we've still got coins that are sitting in the buy zone and the buy warning and have not seen the pump yet. So you can click this link here in the index to find those, or an alternative way is go to the futures blocks, click on all futures blocks, and just go down the list, okay, and you can clearly see, and I'll show you exactly what to look for your opportunities, okay. So looking at futures blocks, really simple to see. Like I said to you in yesterday's video, we've got Bitcoin pumping. We'll start to see, you know, the top end catching it up, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. There is still opportunities in the top end. If you look, really simple, go to the futures blocks and you're looking for the neutral blocks. AVAX, we've got IP, we've got BGB, RVA, XMR. You've got all these coins that are still sort of neutral, not necessarily caught Bitcoin up. Equally, we've got a couple of max shorts in there right now, these red coins, because they're in extreme greed. And as you go down the list, it's just really simple. I've taught you this. Bitcoin pumps, the market follows. So as Bitcoin pumps and starts to slow down, then look at the back end of the market, and you can clearly see, look at the back end of the market, it's not pumped yet. So all your altcoins that are going to, basically 2-3x what Bitcoin's already done, they're down here staring in your face, and you can find them, your neutral blocks and your worry blocks and your fear blocks. Really simple. So as this comes up, I would imagine at some point we will see the drawdown, and then you'll see the tether dominance come to this top end there, and at that point we'll look for the longs again, and we're just riding a wave. So at the moment, I wouldn't necessarily be looking to jump into longs on Bitcoin. So you're getting quite overextended. I'll be looking to just jump into coins to catch up Bitcoin, and looking at a couple of shorts as well with these extreme fear, extreme greed blocks that are kicking into play, okay. So that's a really simple process. Right now, the proof's in the pudding. Top end of the market's pumping, altcoins are lagging. Once they catch Bitcoin up, then look at some kind of retracement kicking into the charts right now, because obviously there's key resistance above. So let's dive into the charts, see what we can see. But equally, one of the reasons why I don't necessarily think the top is in is because of the LD. It's not in a downtrend, and I've relayed this to you for a very long time. This is why I made this indicator. It represents mamas and poppers, just average Joes investing in the market. Whenever this white line's in an uptrend, your blue line's in a downtrend, and we just don't see that yet. And this is why I didn't call this top, this top, this top, because this is still in a downtrend, and it still is in a downtrend. But the minute it enters an uptrend, there you go. You're in your big macro bear market correction, top whatever. Let's dive into the Bitcoin chart, see what we can see, okay? Taking a quick look at the tether dominance before we do dive into the Bitcoin chart. Like I said to you yesterday's video, I think we've got a little channel there. And basically this resistance is where Bitcoin's pumped from. And I think this, basically this retracing to where it came from just there. Now, one thing that's a little bit concerning, and this may be a little bit of a bull trap in the short term for Bitcoin, is the fact that we're not seeing this confluence in this particular chart as well. So if we take a look, what we've got is a clear top for Bitcoin just there, okay? We've got a clear bottom in the tether dominance. So this is trending back up. As it's got this resistance in a rising wedge, this is where Bitcoin's been coming down. Once this rising wedge broke down, look at that, it broke down to the downside, met the technical target, which is basically where Bitcoin topped, okay? And as this has come up, the tether dominance has come up, pretty much slam bang on this level of resistance. Look, this has begun to come back like that, okay? And this is where Bitcoin's breaking out. But what we're seeing is really clear. You can clearly see this is your range for Bitcoin, and this is your range for the tether dominance. And what we're not seeing is the same thing in both charts, where Bitcoin's breaking the range and the tether dominance is losing its support. So this may be a little bit of a bull trap because of what we're seeing in the tether dominance. So I'd be really, really patient there with Bitcoin. If you jump it into longs right now as you're running up into resistance, you are doing it wrong, unfortunately, okay? You should have been buying this blood fear and depression last week that I relayed to you when the micro metrics were telling us to buy, basically. Really that simple. So going forward, what I'm looking at is basically a clue in this chart. If we begin to break down below this key low here, which is roughly, what is that? That's, I need to get that knob on for you. Roughly 3.97%. I think we've got a chance here in some kind of Q4 blow off top in the market. So this is what I'm looking at. But at the moment, I'm going to respect this channel. We've got resistance, support, resistance. Right now, we're coming back. If we find support once more and start to trend back up, I think that's a confluence to a pullback for Bitcoin, okay? Which obviously we're looking for the higher low structure in Bitcoin. going forward. And then obviously we're looking for the higher high structure in this, and then eventually we're looking for the breakdown of the channel. If we start to see this channel break down and lose this key pivot low, which is pretty much where Bitcoin's topped at 3.97%, then I think we've got a flush to the downside to 3.25%. And this is my exit Bitcoin strategy that I've had for a very long time in the chart for anyone that's paying attention. And then, you know, that's your Q4 finish right there for Bitcoin. So pay attention to tether dominance and keep your data as best I can. But at the moment, it's in some kind of little channel. And the fact that we've not seen the loss of this low and the break of this high could indicate that Bitcoin's potentially in some kind of little bull trap at the moment. So we're looking for the key structural, you know, confirmation in the tether dominance right there. If it starts to break down below the channel, turns from resistance and drops, wow, we've got verticals across the board. But until that day comes, I expect volatility basically. Let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now and see what we can see, okay? So looking at Bitcoin on daily time frame, we have seen quite a nice candle yesterday, a Maribozu candle. Look at that, beautiful. You know, I did anticipate, I'll be honest with you, a bit of resistance to that level just there. You know, come up into resistance, fall back to support, some kind of structural bottom here, some kind of ascending triangle would be nice. But you know, what we're seeing right now is a potential push and a possible ABC before a drop. So be careful for Bitcoin, okay? Because obviously we're getting a little bit overextended on the micro across the board, and I'm showing you that in the futures block. So keep an eye on the futures blocks. At the moment, Bitcoin, front end of the market's pumping and the back end of the market's catching up. Now, with this Maribozu candle, it's a massive body of the candle. Look at that, the body of the candle, and you don't see any wicks at the top or bottom, and we've got it backed up with a volume spike as well. So we are seeing that push through, and that's exactly what's been needed to break this resistance. So I know like everybody and the dog would have been going short here, would have stopped loss on that pivot high, so we would have seen some kind of liquidation on people going short right now. So keep an eye on this, because candles can be validated or invalidated within the next 3 candles. So we've got 3 days until this candle. If we start to see the loss of this low in the next 3 days, then this was merely a bull trap for Bitcoin. So just please be careful right now. We are currently 4.04% away from breaking out the all-time high and putting the bear market to bed. You know, basically the people calling for a bear market. But like I said to you, I don't think we've entered a bear market here, because we've not seen the structure, we've not seen the liquidity dance beginning to break to the upside. We've not seen many things. We've not seen the big flush down in the Bitcoin dominance as well. We're not seeing that big massive spike up in the, you know, the tether dominance, which is the telltale sign as well. So one of the key things I'm looking at right now is this indicator I create for yourselves called the bull market support. There's a couple of ways you can have this in your charts. You can either have the band, and I've shown you this before, you can either have the band in, or you can just leave a table in at the bottom. So okay, it doesn't make your charts messy, and it's just a little table at the bottom that tells you the status of any ticker, you know, whether or not it's bullish or bearish on the macro. So currently Bitcoin is still bullish, and if you take a look, and we'll drop the band back in, you can clearly see that, you know, we've come back into support twice now for the BMS, which is really, really nice to see. So you've held it there, you've come back up, and you've had a pullback, and you've currently held it there as well. So what would be a little bit concerning, obviously, squeaky bum time, if we do start to roll and negate this pattern, beautiful candle, which is a Maribozu candle, we start to roll like this and fall back into this, lose this low, then I will anticipate a buyback on the bottom of the BMS, which is roughly 96,564, but obviously in time this is creeping up. Now this will be the validation of the bear market for me. I think if we start to roll over at some point, any point in the future from here, and we lose the BMS, you know, the bottom of it, and turn it into resistance, okay, you know, we've got to project down and look at deeper crash and correction at that point. But so far so good. You know, we're sort of timing these little waves beautifully with it, you know, the overextension to the upside and downside. So I'm looking at right now, I think we may be a little bit of a bull trap. We have a little bit of pullback here, so confirm support. If we can hold another higher low structure, fantastic. We're building some kind of price compression leading to expansion here. So just be careful of a potential little bull trap on Bitcoin today because of the overextension we're seeing on the micro time frames, and obviously looking at the back end catching the market up. If we see that over the next couple of days, you start to see the back end of the market, keep it on the futures blocks. If it starts to look orange, you know, then obviously the back end of the market's caught up, and I think at that point we've got a massive probability of Bitcoin rolling. So this is your all-time high for Bitcoin, currently 4.04% away. I would love to see that broken out, and you know, it puts all the bear market callers to bed, because every single top we've seen people call bear markets, but like I relayed to you, I've not necessarily seen the structure of that, where Bitcoin basically breaks down in the Bitcoin dominance, which is your waterfall. We've just not seen it in this cycle so far, which is obviously with tandem with the liquidity dance breaking out as well in an uptrend. We just don't see those characteristics of the top, which is why I don't think we've seen the true top in this cycle. So if Bitcoin does go again, you know, what we're looking at is potential consolidation in the next few days, a little pullback, you know, some kind of little bull trap at the moment, a little pullback into support, old support, and break again. If we do start to see that, then I think what we've got is potential rising wedge for Bitcoin, where we come up again make a higher high into Q4, and then at that point we're done, because I think from this pivot point to this pivot point we'll be creating a rising wedge with bearish divergence on the weekly, and I've looked at that with you before. So that's currently my primary outlook. But in the short term, just keep an eye on the tether dominance. Obviously for that breakdown on the channel, amazing, massive confluence of the breakout in Bitcoin, and obviously the crypto futures blocks as well. That, you know, the back end of the market needs to go orange before we entertain a short on Bitcoin. Owen stand updates. Stay off, stay strong, stay tuned. Take care. I'm back with a new update on Bitcoin. Bye bye.